Welcome to Shadow Realm Mysteries, where dark secrets, chilling tales, and the unexplained come to light. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and brace yourself, because the truth always lurks in the shadows. Tonight we enter a haunting tale, The House That Whispers, a forgotten mystery, voices in the darkness, and a place that changes everyone who dares to enter. Are you ready? In the fall of 1974, Daniel Whitmore, an author of true crime and supernatural books, travelled to a small town in Maine to research a house no one dared to talk about. Blackwood Manor had been abandoned for over 100 years, but its history was stained with disappearances, madness, and whispers of dark rituals. The original owners, the Blackwood family, vanished overnight in 1872, leaving their dinner plates still set at the table. In the years that followed, 1903, a group of teenage boys entered the house as a dare. Only one made it out, but he was found wandering the woods, muttering in an unknown language. 1926, a family of 4 moved in, hoping to renovate the mansion. It was empty. Their belongings were untouched, but the family was never seen again. 1951, a priest attempted to cleanse the house. He was found 2 weeks later, locked in the attic, his body covered in scratch marks, yet the door had been bolted from the outside. Daniel, eager for a best-selling book, ignored the warnings. He stepped inside. The moment Daniel crossed the threshold, he felt it. The air was wrong. The house wasn't abandoned, it was waiting. Dust coated the chandeliers and velvet drapes, but the air smelled of smoke and decay as if someone had just been there. Then a floorboard creaked upstairs. Daniel froze. No one should be here. His hands trembled as he lifted his tape recorder. "Is someone here with me?" For a moment, only silence. Then a whisper. "You shouldn't have come." Daniel explored the grand staircase, the endless hallways, the empty bedrooms. Each room was coated in layers of dust, yet the mirrors were spotless, as if someone had been wiping them clean. Then in the master bedroom he found something strange. A bookshelf, slightly ajar. Behind it, a hidden passage. His breath quickened. He pushed the shelf aside, revealing a narrow corridor lined with portraits. But these portraits were wrong. Their eyes followed him. Their mouths seemed to move when he wasn't looking. One painting depicting a woman in black had deep scratches over her face. At the end of the passage, a single door stood open, revealing a candlelit room. In the centre, a chair facing a mirror, and in the mirror, a woman standing right behind him. Daniel whirled around, but the room was empty. Yet the mirror still showed her. She was dressed in a tattered black gown, her hair covering her face. Then she moved closer, but only in the mirror. Mirror. "Who are you?" Daniel whispered. The woman's head tilted, revealing a mouth sewn shut with black thread. Her hand pressed against the mirror, and suddenly so did Daniel's. He couldn't move. His reflection was no longer his own. It was her. The candlelight flickered. Then her lips began to move, as if trying to speak through the stitches. The thread began to snap one by one, then a single word left her mouth. "Run." Daniel stumbled backward, his pulse pounding. The mirror shattered, but instead of falling, the shards floated in the air, twisting and rearranging themselves into words. "You can never leave." The door behind him slammed shut. The portraits on the walls began whispering, their eyes rolling in their sockets. The house was alive, and it had decided to keep him. Then, from the darkness, the woman in black emerged, her mouth now free, her voice low and raspy. "They will come for you." Daniel ran, but every hallway led back to the same room. The house would not let him go. His only hope was the front door. Daniel sprinted down the main hall, but as he reached for the handle, a cold hand grabbed his wrist. The woman in black stood beside him, her hollow eyes filled with a sorrow deeper than death. "If you leave," she whispered, "you must take my place." Daniel froze. The door swung open, revealing a world untouched by time. It was 1872. The house had never changed. A dining table was still set. The Blackwood family sat motionless, staring at him. Then they smiled. The next morning, Daniel's car was found abandoned outside the estate. His notes, his camera, his recorder, gone. Blackwood Manor stood as it always had, untouched by time, untouched by truth. And if you listen closely, on certain nights you can still hear the faint voice of a man trapped inside, whispering from the second-floor window, "Please, let me out." But no one ever does, because Blackwood Manor always takes another. Even now, the house remains empty, or so people believe. Some say if you pass by at night, you'll see a figure standing in the window, watching. And if you knock on the door, you might just hear it knock back.